So, here on Breakfast, we have been following the story of Paralympic swimmer Will Perry, who has spoken very publicly about the abuse he's received because of his dwarfism.
Now, his honesty prompted a huge response. This week he met the Prime Minister to discuss his experiences. James Boris has more.
Out of the pool and into the classroom for Will Perry, educating this group of teenagers about disability and its impact.
I'm here today because I really want to educate the younger generation about my campaign and what I'm fighting so strongly for. I've come to talk about the abuse of dwarfism, my experience at the Paralympics, and how we all feel generally as people with dwarfism. And I'd love to also get their own mindset on what it's like when they see someone wandering around with dwarfism, their opinions on bullying, abuse.
2 weeks ago, Will spoke to us about the abuse he continues to receive, and his story went viral. So how do these students feel such cruelty can be stopped?
I think it's just the hive mentality that a lot of teenagers have. They want to impress their friends and they want to be a part of the group. And I think once we sort of eliminate that and tell people that it's not cool and it's not going to impress people if you discriminate against people, then I think that's how we can eliminate this.
If we all put our mind to it, and if we all think it's just not right, we shouldn't be doing it, it should be pretty easy. But for others, I think they just think they're better than other people, and I think that will be hard for them to get their head around it.
When Will was a teenager, he was repeatedly bullied at school. His family want to make sure other children with disabilities don't suffer similar hurt.
I always thought that, well, bullying is easy to deal with, school just needs to sort it out, but I think it's more complicated than that. It would definitely leave you feeling powerless. You can deal with practicalities, you can make things better yourself, you can make things work for you as a family, but when something's out of your control like that and it's making him miserable, that's probably the hardest. But if children can grow up knowing what it is, why people are small, like Will, understand that actually it's a medical condition and it causes medical problems too. It's not just about being small.
But there is hope. This week, Will held a meeting with the Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition, Sir Keir Starmer, who have backed his campaign. In a statement on Twitter, Boris Johnson said it was heartrending to hear about the bullying and abuse that Will has experienced. There is no place in our society for the mockery and abuse of people living with dwarfism or any other disability or condition.
He really sat down, looked me in the eye, and was genuinely saddened by what I had to say. And he offered me his full unconditional support, which is more than I can ever ask, which means it reaches far more people than it could ever have done. So I'm flattered, I'm blown over.
Will has been inundated with support these past few weeks, and he wants to organise more school visits like this to spread his message. James Burridge, BBC News.
Delighted to say Will joins us now. Will, morning to you.
Good morning.
So after that chat we had on the sofa, you've had a busy week, haven't you? How's it been?
Oh, it's been unbelievable. I've been so busy with different media, talking to loads of people, replying to messages, meeting politicians. It's been out of this world. I can't believe it. I can't stop smiling.
Good. I'm really pleased to hear that. It's good that something positive has come out of this, because you put yourself out there on this sofa, didn't you? It could have gone either way, really.
Yeah. Which other way it was going to go, I wanted to get my message out. I really wanted people to hear what has been going on. So whether it end up in a positive way or a negative way, I really wanted to spread my message, and I'm so happy that it has gone in the positive direction, and now I'm in a real position to make change.
Well, I think we can probably put up on screen now the image of the moment when you met the Prime Minister. Now, this is not an everyday occurrence, and you have an opportunity to get someone very important to listen. Now, I think a lot of people are on a learning curve about this, and that's your point, isn't it? You're not trying to shame people. You're trying to help people to do better. When you spoke to the Prime Minister, what sort of feeling did you get from him?
He was unbelievably attentive to what I had to say. He was, the one I got the most was shocked. He looked me dead in the eye, and it was like he really couldn't believe it. He gave me more time than he initially granted. There was at no point it looked like he wanted to end the conversation. He kept on asking me questions and questions. He offered me his full unconditional support whichever ministers I needed for my campaign. And it was fantastic. I also need to mention that this is not just him who I met. I also met Sir Keir Starmer and Ian Blackford and multiple other MPs as well, to have a cross-party campaign to help fight this. It's unbelievable. So not only the Prime Minister, but all the important figures in Parliament I've now got on my side, which is fantastic.
So, Will, what I'm hearing, and that clearly is very positive, and that's fantastic. You had that moment, and you feel like there is real sense of that politicians are understanding. I will not be the first person to say that politicians sometimes say things and they support campaigns, and then over time we look at it and we think, well, how much has really changed? How optimistic are you that something practical, something real will come out of this?
Oh, I'm very optimistic, because I won't go away until it does. We're looking up to set up an event in Parliament, and hopefully it's going to come up for a debate in the House of Commons. But I'm not going away until this changes. I'm a Paralympian. I'm very proud of who I am. I'm very proud for what I'm fighting for. I've got some fantastic contacts now in Parliament. So the initial MP who reached out to me was Andrew Percy from Briggs and Gould, and he's done a fantastic job of getting me to meet various people. So since it's a cross-party campaign, there'll always be people there who I can speak to, and I'm not going away until we do something about it. So I'm not worried about it burning out.
So, Will, on a practical level, to kind of pick up on what Charlie was saying, is how will society be different at the end of this campaign? What is the aim? I mean, which sections of society will be different? Where will you see kind of more education, more understanding of how to communicate differences?
So the target audience is young people. We really need to get into their minds, know who we are, educate them about, obviously just dwarfism, what might come with it, what we can experience. Just make people aware of who we are, and not just obviously through film and TikTok and all that. Just show that we're real people. But obviously, it's going to be it's a tricky goal. It's a tricky goal, but we've got time. I've got time to change this, and the aim, I know when it'll be fixed when I feel like I can blend in normally to society. I don't have to look over my shoulder. I don't have to feel like I can only go out when I've got friends around me. So the goal doesn't really, how do I say it? It's not really shouty, it's not really out there, it's very discreet, but it's noticeable, and that's the aim. But it might take a bit of time, which I know it will do, but I'm determined to reach it.
Now, Will, sorry, I just wanted to pick up on the fact that you said, I want to be able to go out without looking over my shoulder, or I want to be able to go out on my own, not just with my friends. Is that what life is like for you now, at this moment in time, where society's at?
Yeah, it's gotten, I must admit, it's gotten a little bit better, because at the moment I seem to be everywhere on the news and people have heard about me. So it seems to be a little bit better at the moment, but I need to make sure it's permanent. Not that, my name's in the news for a few weeks and it just goes away. I need to make sure that everyone's permanently educated. But yes, and for the last however many years of my life, my entire life, I've had to look over my shoulder. I go out at specific times to avoid big crowds. I go out when it's less busy. And most of the time, if I have to order things, I will just do it online, because it means I don't have to go out. And it's not just me. Everyone with dwarfism does that. It's horrendous, and we shouldn't have to.
Well, I remember very vividly when you were sitting just right here talking to us, and I can visibly see you. There was a kind of a breath you took when you kind of launch yourself into the message you want to get out there. And it was visible that it was a very, very emotional, very personal thing that you're putting out there, but you felt determined to do, as you've so eloquently explained this morning. As you walked out of our studio, when you made that statement and it went so public, what was the first tangible sign you got that you felt something had changed?
Well, I went for a walk. So obviously we were in Manchester at the time, and I went for a walk, and it actually made me feel like I relaxed a bit more. I felt like I could, maybe, I don't know how many people have heard it, but maybe I feel like it's made a difference. I didn't try and notice as much, but yeah, obviously it's a big step forward. I'm not a media star. I'm not, I don't like putting myself out there for the wrong reasons. I felt like I had to do this for change. Yeah, it's become easier now, but I definitely feel like the message is starting to go out, especially with the response I'm getting from the public. The hundreds of messages I'm getting of support, shock. It's fantastic. We're starting to go in the right direction. We're not there yet, but we are starting.
What could I do today, Will? Anyone watching? What can I do today, rather than just wait for the campaign? What can I do? Tell me something, teach me something today to make a difference.
I think it's just about awareness, talk, say, oh, I met with this bloke Will today, and he says his life is like this, and then that tells one person or two people, and then they go and tell 2 or 3 more other people. If it's happening out in public and you see someone, then confront them. You would do the same with racism, homophobic behaviors, anything like that. You would do the same. So it's exactly the same with us. If you see someone laughing or taking pictures or filming someone with dwarfism, call them out. Say it's not okay. It's just spreading the message. It's just making people aware. So the more people are aware, the better.
Be an ally. Will, it's always good to talk to you. Brilliant work that you're doing. I'm glad we could help, and it's great to see you, and it's so great to hear the positive message as well. Look after yourself.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's really inspirational, isn't it, Mike?
Oh, I've been loving his story ever since we first got to know him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've followed him sporting terms before at the Paralympics, but incredible, yeah.